What's up, squad? It's your squid. Today's video is about James Morrill, who is a bloke who was shipwrecked on his way to the Australian colonies in far north Queensland. Shipwrecked on the Great Barrier Reef, which would normally be a death sentence, but this bloke got lucky and he lived with an Aboriginal culture for 17 years before he would eventually rejoin British society. I've written it as a script, so because I don't want you looking at me going like, I'm just going to throw up Australiana and Australian pictures from this point forward. If you've got YouTube Premium, go and do your laundry, fold your washing, do something you don't need to be looking at the video for. Just listen to me talking and listen to this cool story about probably one of the first Australians rather than an Englishman in what we now know as Australia, all right? Check it out. This is James Morrill.
James Morrill is one of the people I think all students in Australia should hear about, but for whatever reason they currently don't. His life provides a profound narrative of cultural exchange, survival, and the complexity of cross-cultural interactions in 19th century Australia. And he's another one of the people I like to describe as a complicated but good bloke from within that time period. Born in England in 1824, Morrill was shipwrecked on the Great Barrier Reef on his way to Sydney in 1846. Following the shipwreck, Morrill spent 17 whole years living among the Birragubba people of North Queensland. His memoir, Sketch of a Residence Among the Aboriginals of North Queensland for 17 Years, offers an invaluable perspective on Aboriginal life, customs, and the impacts of European settlement on Aboriginal people from the closest thing to an Aboriginal perspective that we had at the time. Well, outside of an Aboriginal's perspective, but you know what I mean. We still have the original documents, and I got to see the digitised versions while making this script. Regular viewers will probably actually be surprised to hear it's not at the State Library of New South Wales, where I find most of these texts I make videos about, but rather it's at the Library of John Curtin University in South Australia. They're not as cool as the State Library of New South Wales, but they're rapidly closing the gap in terms of digitalising historic resources, and I know that's irrelevant to the video, but it was handy for its creation, I've got to say. Anyway, this video is going to explore Morrill's life, focusing on his integration into the Birragubba community, his eventual return to British society, and the challenges he faced during and after his return. As I said earlier, James Morrill was born in 1824, and he was born in the rural county of Wiltshire, England. Like many young men of his time, he sought adventure and better opportunities, leading him to join the crew of the Peruvian, a ship bound for the Australian colonies. On the 27th of February, 1846, the captain of the Peruvian was heard saying, "Ah, great," as they hit a huge reef acting as an underwater barrier of sorts, and they had to abandon ship. I completely made up that part about what the captain said, but the facts are that on that date they wrecked in a treacherous location of coral reefs which stretched as far as the eye could see. They'd hit the biggest coral reef in the world as we now know it to be, and what is now known today as the Great Barrier Reef. The survivors, including Morrill, clung to a makeshift raft and eventually reached the shores of North Queensland by sheer luck of the tides. In his memoir, Morrill vividly recounts the harrowing days following the shipwreck. The survivors were in dire straits, with very few supplies and even fewer hopes of an elaborate rescue by the British. When the Birragubba people encountered them, initial interactions were cautious. However, the Birragubba showed remarkable compassion, providing the survivors with food and shelter almost immediately. This act of kindness marked the beginning of Morrill's extraordinary journey. Morrill's integration into the Birragubba community was a gradual but profound process. Initially, he and the other survivors were treated as guests, with the Birragubba providing for their basic needs entirely. Over time, as trust and mutual respect grew, Morrill was fully integrated into the community though. Learning the Birragubba language was a crucial step in his integration, allowing him to communicate effectively and understand their culture more deeply than on a surface level. In his memoir, Morrill details his efforts to adapt to the Birragubba way of life. He adopted their customs, participated in their rituals, and shared in their daily activities. This deep cultural exchange not only helped Morrill survive, but also allowed him to thrive within the community. He became an active participant in their society, contributing to their collective well-being. Morrill's daily life with the Birragubba people was rich with cultural exchange. He learned to hunt, fish, and gather food using their traditional methods. He also learned to track animals, set traps, and use traditional weapons, skills that weren't just essential for his survival, but were also deeply entwined with the Birri-Gubba people's cultural practices. Hunting trips, for example, were not merely about procuring food, he said, but also about reinforcing social bonds and passing on knowledge in a pastoral or fraternal sense from man to man. Morrell's participation in Birri-Gubba ceremonies and rituals further deepened his understanding of their culture as well. He witnessed and took part in various ceremonies, such as initiation rites where children become adults, which were pivotal in Birri-Gubba society. These events were often communal and involved elaborate preparations, dances, songs, and storytelling. Morrell's active participation in these ceremonies not only deepened his connection with the community, but also provided him with a profound understanding of their cultural values and beliefs as a genuine member of it, rather than as an outsider from the community after a period of time. These ceremonies were rich in symbolism and held significant meaning for the community, and eventually would hold significant meaning for Morrell as well. You can read his memoir yourself, digitised and available at John Curtin University's library, I'll remind you. After 17 whole years with the Birri-Gubba people, Morrell decided to return to British society in 1863. This decision was influenced by several factors, including the growing encroachment of European settlers into Aboriginal lands and the increasing conflicts that ensued. Morrell hoped to use his unique position to mediate these conflicts and advocate for the rights and welfare of Aboriginal people. Basically, in short, in today's colloquial language, he knew how to say "fuck off, leave us alone" in corporate English, and he figured that might work better than what had been tried previously by other folks from the bush. In his memoir, Morrell expresses his deep sense of responsibility and concern for the Birri-Gubba people. The increasing presence of European settlers posed significant challenges for the Aboriginal communities, leading to frequent conflicts and violence. Morrell believed that his unique position, having lived with the Birri-Gubba people and understanding their culture while originally being a white man from rural England, he could mediate these conflicts and promote peaceful coexistence with the British. Morrell's return to British society was met with mixed reactions. On one hand, he was seen as a curiosity and as a valuable source of information about Aboriginal life. On the other hand, his long absence and deep integration into Aboriginal society made reintegration into British society quite challenging. Morrell faced physical and cultural challenges as he navigated the complexities of his new role as a mediator between the two worlds. One of the immediate challenges Morrell faced was the scepticism and suspicion from other European settlers. Many settlers viewed him with distrust, questioning his loyalty and his intentions. Morrell's appearance, after spending 17 years with the Birri-Gubba people, was markedly different from the typical European settler. His fluency in the Birri-Gubba language and his deep understanding of their customs further alienated him from the settlers. Moreover, Morrell had to adjust to the starkly different lifestyle of the settlers himself. The comforts and conveniences of European society, which he had long abandoned, now seemed completely foreign to him. The structured and hierarchical nature of settler society contrasted sharply with the communal and egalitarian structure of the Birri-Gubba community. This cultural dissonance posed significant challenges for Morrell as he sought to reintegrate into British society because he felt unmoored, adrift, and lost between the two cultures. Upon his return, Morrell became a vocal advocate for peaceful coexistence and mutual respect between European settlers and Aboriginal peoples. He often used his unique position to mediate conflicts, leveraging his deep understanding of both cultures. Morrell's efforts were not without challenges, though, as he often faced scepticism and resistance from both sides. However, his commitment to fostering better relationships and his first-hand knowledge of Aboriginal customs and beliefs made him an effective mediator, probably the most effective ever up until that point in Australian history. Morrell's role as a bridge between the two cultures was critical in mediating conflicts and fostering better understanding. He sought to educate the settlers about Aboriginal customs and beliefs, emphasising the importance of respect and coexistence. Morrell's deep understanding of the Birri-Gubba culture allowed him to explain away their actions and behaviours in a way that the settlers could understand, reducing misunderstandings and conflicts. One notable instance of Morrell's mediation efforts was his involvement in resolving land disputes between the settlers and the Birri-Gubba people. The increasing encroachment of settlers into Aboriginal lands had led to frequent conflicts. Morrill used his knowledge of both cultures to negotiate peace settlements and advocate for the recognition of Aboriginal land rights. And yes, this is midway through the 19th century, Aboriginal land rights. His efforts helped to alleviate tensions and foster a more respectful relationship in the area. Morrill's advocacy extended beyond mediation, though. As I've stated a few times now, he documented his experience and the customs of the Birri people in his memoir, which was a wordy, mouthy title, but was called Sketch of a Residence Among the Aboriginals of Northern Queensland for 17 Years. His writings provide valuable insights into the life and culture of the Birri people and the impact of European settlement on Aboriginal communities. Morrill's memoir remains, today, an important historical document, shedding light on a period of significant change and conflict in Australian history. So to sum things up, James Morrill's life was a powerful narrative of cultural exchange, respect, and the challenges of navigating between two different worlds. His 17 years with the Birri people and his subsequent efforts to mediate between Aboriginal communities and European settlers highlight the complexities and possibilities of cross-cultural interaction and show that being a racist bastard was not simply the order of the day in that time period. Morrill's memoir remains a valuable resource for understanding the Aboriginal cultures of North Queensland and the impact of European colonisation upon them. His story serves as a reminder of the importance of mutual respect and the potential for harmonious coexistence, even in the face of profound cultural differences. I appreciate you guys listening for this long, if you're still here. On screen are the financial supporters of the channel. For as little as $1 per month, you could guarantee more content like this keeps coming out more frequently, as well as get your name in that list. It really stretches pretty far for me as a single dad doing this content creation hustle as his only job. With the economy of scale, your $1 might end up paying my gas bill. So thank you for all the people on screen and to anyone who's considering becoming one of them as well. No pressure though. If you're still here watching, you probably already watched 4 or 5 ads that I've got your money from anyway. As always, either way, do me a solid and like the video, leave a comment if you're so inclined, and let me know who you want me to look into and write about or speak about next, because that's all free for you to do. It costs you nothing. These videos take about 5,000% more effort than the silly little YouTube shorts that I make, so it would be really cool if you could reward that effort and hit those buttons for me. But I'll zip it and start writing the next script now. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button wherever it is on the side or down there. Leave a comment and yeah, I appreciate you guys. Sorry if you heard my kids throughout the whole time playing on their little piano, xylophone or anything, but them's the breaks. I'm a single dad.